Hey there, folks. So we are in Unit 3 of CIS 110. This is Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday. We are halfway through the working week, and we are talking today about documentation systems. So we're going to kind of formally get into like the big everything of documentation systems today. And my first encounter with the documentation system happened when I was in high school. My teacher said, well, you're all writing reports on something, and I'm going to teach you how to use MLA. And of course, the first one, what is MLA? Modern Languages Association. Now, the idea of a documentation system, MLA is just one of many. We're going to talk a little bit later about APA, which is what you're using. But the big idea of a documentation system is, have you ever been in a discussion with somebody and someone says something that's a little too good to be true? You say, prove it! And you wait. And you wait. And they come back to you with information. Well, the documentation system is how you answer that question in a research context. Prove it. Oh, okay. Here's the article. Here's who wrote it. Here's when it was published. Here's the specific information that you can find, you can use to find it, whatever it is. If it's a magazine, if it's a book, if it's a web page, here's all the specific information. You don't believe me? Go look it up. Here's everything you need. That is the documentation system. Now, most documentation systems happen in two places. The first part of the documentation system happens in the paper itself. So when you're going through and you're writing and you cite something, you put a very quick note in the paper. Hey, I didn't make this. I'm borrowing this. This is something that someone else said. This is their statistic, whatever it is. Then at the end of the paper, you have a works cited or a reference form. So this over here, this is kind of like the short form. Hey, I didn't make this. Remember we said prove it? Yeah, okay, here. I heard this from this person. I saw this at this website. That's all you do is you just very quickly go in. Over here, in the works cited, you give all the long form. Oh, you don't believe me? Here, look it up. Here's where you're going to find everything. If you want to see it, that web page, if you want to look that article up, whatever it is, here's where you look it up. So that's the idea of a documentation system. Now, it's critical because being able to document your sources builds your credibility as a researcher. And that's what you're doing here in college. You're researching things. You're going out, you're finding sources, you're documenting them because people are going to say, oh, prove it. There have been many, many scandals throughout the years where a scientist kind of fudges their data a little bit, maybe blurs a couple lines, and other scientists go in and they kind of poke at it and they pull and they tug and they watch everything fall apart. So it's important that you can communicate that information in a standardized form. And that's really the big point of a documentation system. Documentation systems are standardized forms. It doesn't matter what it is, whether you're using MLA, Chicago, APA, all of those. Okay, here's the language. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to talk more on Friday about APA in particular. So that kind of sets our frame for the week. Hopefully y'all are making good progress on stuff. You've got your quiz taken care of, or you're going to take care of it. You've got your discussion board posted, or you're going to post it. You've got your simulation done, or you're going to do it. Folks, as always, if you need me, I'm just an email away. I will see everybody on Friday. Have a fantastic back half of your week. Please stay safe.